also join because we do not want anyone to miss. Yours, Diamond Jimmy, Vice President, Sales and Marketing at Okata Wellness Solution. Let's see who is with us tonight. Just before we start, go in the chat and tell us where you are logging in from. And of course, I have already Mokisa Samuel from Uganda. Well, welcome. Moruli Tarur from Nairobi, you are welcome as well. Who else is on the call? Tell us the country where you are logging in from. Post the flag of that country and show us that you love your country where you are coming in from. Of course, we have from Uganda, Byaruhanga Peter, and we have Afua Navatans, Najuko from Uganda, Isaac from Tanzania. Who else is with us? Keep logging in. Share the link with everyone so that we get this meeting started. Okay, and right now, Vivian from Zambia, you are also welcome, and Gabriel from South Sudan, Friska from Kenya, and Jonathan Moni from Malawi, Luf Noenyini from Uganda, Scholar, joining from Mbarara, and Obwal from Uganda. Sam, you will be the last I will mention from Uganda as well. Welcome, everyone. And right now, I would like us to usher in our Health Professional Council member, Dr. Derrick Mwanje, who is going to take us through a powerful training on the body and degeneration. And he calls it the inevitability of life. Okay, Dr. Derrick Mwanje, you are welcome. And he's going to really lead us in a powerful training. Over to you, Dr. Derrick. And thank you for sparing time to share with us this great information. Yes,
yes, Jimmy. Yes, Vice President,
Doctor,
are you able
can
to hear
you.
me? Okay, thank you very much. I really am very excited to join you this evening. Friends from all over Africa. I have had people from Malawi. I've had people from Kenya. I see this flag, I think South Sudan, Chol, Coach Kill Chol. You're very welcome. I want to welcome Jonathan Mhone. I think that is Kenya. I also want to welcome Priska Kasala, also from Kenya. I want to welcome you all, friends. My name is Mwanje Derrick. I'm a medical doctor specializing in reproductive health. But today, you know, before you become a specialized doctor, you first become a general doctor, you know. A general doctor, you have relatively detailed information about each and every system of the body. In fact, before you see a specialist, most times you want to first see a general doctor because most of the problems can be solved by a general doctor. And then those which are a bit hard, then you refer to a specialized doctor. And so in general, you may say, well, but this one is the reproductive health. But I also keep telling people that reproductive health doctors are the main reason why all of us here exist, because what we study is what helps me and you to live or to exist in the first place. And so today we are going to talk about reproduction. We're not going to talk about anything else. We're going to talk about degenerative disease, degeneration. Generation means to grow. You know, you've heard about generations. Generation, my first generation, second generation. Some of us here, maybe you are in your first generation as a family. You could be the third generation in your family. So generation means people come and grow, and then they die. And that's the inevitability of life. All of us are degenerating each and every day, as we are going to see. When we are born, when you're born from your mother's womb, you grow, okay? You're born with fresh organs, kidneys, perfect, heart, perfect, bones, perfect. Everything is perfect about you. In fact, if a mother is sick, for example, if a mother has HIV, and they cannot pass it on to their baby unless things go wrong, okay? But a baby who's inside the womb, well protected, the HIV can't cross, you know, the placenta or where the baby is feeding to go to the baby. Just show you how protected the baby is. And so by the time they are born, they're brand new, like a car. If you've bought a car from the bond, it feels different from that one which has been driven for some 3-4 years. Okay. So that's generation, not new things. Everything has generated, has become new. Okay. But now as we grow, things don't remain new. Things don't remain new. If you've sat in a car, I'll use an example of a car because most of us have had an experience, or most of us have an experience of a car. A brand new car is different. When you hit a pothole, you can't feel it. When you hit a hump, you can't feel it almost. But then as it goes on 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, time comes that even a small pothole, you feel it in your tummy. For those who are in Kampala, we have quite a number of them, okay? You hit one and you feel like, oh, this is serious, okay? And yet when the car is new, you can hit a hump and you don't feel anything because everything is still intact, okay? The shock absorbers are intact. The cushions are intact, okay? The engine is intact. If you've a brand new car, you step on the gas, you jumps forward immediately. Then when it gets older, you step on the gas, it will need some seconds for it to even pick, to start accelerating because now the response is slow. Now, if even a machine can behave like that over 5 years, how do you think your body behaves? You're already 30 years, you're already 40 years. What do you think is happening? You see, definitely a lot of degeneration is going on. And by age 30, by age 30, humans start to degenerate, okay? The muscle mass starts getting smaller. Muscle mass doesn't mean weight. Muscle mass may be small, but you put on weight because of fat. Okay, now you become obese and you get hypertensive. Those are two different things. Okay, so muscle mass becomes smaller. The metabolism declines. That's why when you're old, you don't need to eat a lot of food because your body no longer needs a lot of food. Let the big plate of posho, let the big plate of unsima for those who are in Zambia. Yeah, let the big plate of ugali, okay? If you are in Nairobi, let it be for the 16-year-old because they have all this energy to play the football, to run here and there, to sweat. But now if you are like Jimmy, who sits in the office there, VP, he no longer needs a plate of posho, big one, okay? Doesn't need a lot of ugali. If you're like me, who's also, sitting in office here and there, I don't exercise that much. I'm not. Yes, I'll run and do that, but the energy that I need is not going to come from that big plate of ugali. Okay, so if you're 30 years, your metabolism has slowed down, starts to slow down, meaning the foods you take in, the body is going to use them, but a little, and the rest it will keep in form of fat. That's why if people are 30, 40, they start putting on extra weight. They say, oh, the guy is becoming rich. Yes, he's getting rich, but he's also getting sick. Okay. And then the skin starts to change. If you've seen the baby skin, the women who like baby hair, Normally women love baby hair. I'm sure I'm talking to some women here, they love that baby hair because it looks young, you look young. Okay, but then by the age of 30, some people, even the gray hair started showing up, okay? Because now the body is getting down. By age 34, okay, the first wave of you getting really old enough start to show, okay? The major phases of aging start to accelerate. Because when you're before you reach in the phase of growth, by the time a person reaches 25, they cannot even put on any more height, okay? If you're short and 25, you're short, no hope of you getting taller. That will be your maximum height for the rest of your life because the plates, we call them the physio plates for the bones that are fused, okay? You're no longer growing anymore. You can increase in size in the girth. You can increase in the girth, okay? But you cannot grow anymore, growth in terms of height, okay? Then by age 60, the signs of degenerative disease start to show up. Not that they have come at that time, they started coming in at 34, but now their effect has started to show by age of 50, 60, okay? You've seen women or men, when he's standing, he needs a full hour to stand up. If he's seated, he needs a full hour to stand up. When you go to the toilet and sit, he does his work there, but to get up from the toilet seat becomes another battle because now the bones are stiff, the muscles are paining, okay? Because everything now is stiff because of age. Not is because he's eating bad, no. Not because he's not exercising, no. But because age, just like it is for a new car, you may be doing the best service, you may be putting the best oil, you know, doing the right things. But because of age, still the car gets down, it gets worn down. So it's the same thing with the body. Okay. And then by age 70 there, now it is a full-blown course, okay, of most of the degenerative diseases. That's why you find some of the hardest people to deal with when they come to the hospital are the older people. Very hard people to treat because she will complain everything about her body will be paining from the hair. The hair is painful, the skin, up to the toe. And if you're a doctor, you may not even tell what to start with. But when you listen carefully, everything else, everything comes down to one thing, that this person has become old. Okay? Things have been worn down. And that is the nature of life. Okay? And so, the commonest degenerative disease that already is taking place in your body starts with the bones, the joints. Those are some of the first things to start breaking down in your body. Okay, the joints and the bones. And for the women, it is even different because by the time they are 40, 50, the process becomes even worse. Once we call it estrogen, once the estrogen gets withdrawn. Okay. That's why you find many women, when they're still getting their periods, they don't get pressure. Once they stop getting to their periods, the pressure comes, okay? Because the estrogen has gone down. The body has started going into what we call degenerative disease, cardiovascular degeneration, okay? Because sometimes you get pressure because of cardiovascular degeneration, because of age, okay? That's why we call it essential hypertension. There is no specific cause that we can identify as the cause of your pressure, okay? And so arthritis, osteoarthritis goes hand in hand with osteoporosis. Arthritis is for the joints, okay? Joints arthritis, inflammation of the joints. You can imagine you've been using these joints, bending them up and down for 30 years. How many of us have seen how a 30-year-old car looks like? I don't know if any of us has ever seen how a 30-year-old car looks like. If you've seen it, now just imagine how a 30-year-old you, how a 25-year-old you, how a 65-year-old you, who also has these moving parts. Hey, you have these moving parts. The joints are moving every day. The muscles are moving every day. Okay? You can imagine. And they have been doing that for the last 30, 40 years. You can imagine. What do you expect is happening? Definitely they are getting worn down. Okay, so don't be surprised when you start feeling the joint pain. Don't be surprised when they start getting stiff because they're getting used up. Okay, osteoporosis, the bones now become what? Become porous. The way you hear it, porosis, they become porous. The bone is supposed to be hard. You know, if you've eaten meat, if you've ever bitten a bone of a cow, it's like a metal, very hard. Okay, but then these days, if you eat, there is this chicken which is fried. I think it is fried chicken, okay, Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. You can even eat the bone by mistake because it is as soft as the mass on the what? Because the body is so soft, the bone is so soft. It is osteoporotic, if I may say it like that. It's so soft that it can easily break. It is painful. You know, there are those people who will complain of bone pain. You've seen those people, especially ladies, as those are in the postmenopausal phase, because the bones are osteoporotic. They are less dense than they were before. Okay, and not because of anything else, but because of age. They are degenerative changes. Then the other degenerative disease is kidneys. I'm going to talk about major things. Remember, as we degenerate, every organ around you is degenerating. In other words, it is getting less efficient in the way it is doing work. Okay? The other organ which gets degenerative disease is the kidney disease, is the kidney. Kidneys also become less effective. They remove the toxins less efficiently like they used to do. And if someone is diabetic, if someone is hypertensive, that process is even faster. Okay? That process is faster. So people who are older, you know, if you go in the kidney, in the business of organ transplant, okay, for us in the medical, there is what we call organ transplant. People who want to donate organs, they prefer to get organs from younger people. You know what? What's the point of getting an 8-year-old kidney? It has seen all the alcohol, it has seen all the smoke from all the cars, it has gotten tired. Okay? It's no longer as effective as a young kidney. You see? So even the kidneys, they get less efficient. Even the liver gets less efficient. That's why sometimes you get what we call liver cirrhosis. Not because the person drinks a lot of alcohol, no, but because of the degenerative changes of the liver. Okay? It becomes cirrhotic, fibrotic. Okay? Because it has been used over and over and over again. It is tired of replacing itself. Now it scars and becomes less effective. Okay? Then there's what we call neuropathy. Neuropathy is another very common degenerative disease. Okay? Neuropathy these days is even very common. You know, you find a young man complaining of numbness. Hey, doctor, I feel numb in my fingers. My fingers get stiff. I feel heat in my legs. You said, are you hypertensive? No. Are you diabetic? No. But they're already having these signs of nerve death. And the challenge with nerves is that when the nerves die, they don't regenerate that much. Okay? Yes, they don't generate that much. So you find people complaining of sensory pain, numb, tingling, things walking here and there in my body. Okay? Motor issues, someone holds something, but for them to open their hands again becomes a bit hard because muscles have become stiff and weak. Okay? They have issues with digestion because the nervous system also affects how the food moves from your mouth up to when you pass out the fecal matter. So if the nerves are damaged, they are neuropathic. You know, you get more, less movement in your gut, so you have higher chances of constipation, higher chances of indigestion. You see, blood pressure can go high because of the deranged, what we call the autonomic nervous system. You see, people start getting sweaty. They sweat a lot. They don't sleep at night. They get insomnia. Someone goes to sleep at night, but they can't catch sleep. Okay. Then we have things of the brain. Okay. Alzheimer's disease, dementia. You know, when people start these days, dementia is very common. It's very common in people who are 60, 70 years of age. They start exhibiting signs of dementia. When you're young, the brain fills the whole skull. Okay, if we open the skull, we find the brain has filled everything in there. But if you open the skull of a 70, 80-year-old, you find it has shrunk into something small with a lot of space in the skull there. That's why when old people fall down, for us in the medical world, we don't take it lightly. You must take a CT scan for that old person because their brain is so small. Even a simple fall can make the brain shake like this and start bleeding. But for a young man, when they fall down because the brain is well packed in there, you know, it doesn't shake a lot. But for an old person, it shakes a lot because there's a lot of space where it can shake since it has shrunk into something small. So they forget easily. They don't sleep. Okay? Degeneration. Then the other degenerative condition is cardiovascular disease, is also a degenerative condition. Okay? Atherosclerosis, heart failure, some blood vessels become what we call stiff, non-pliable, if I may put it like that. They are not responsive. They become stiff like a pipe. Okay, before, you know, blood vessels are supposed to be flexible for blood to move through. But because of age, it becomes stiff like a pipe. Okay, as even bad cholesterol keeps accumulating there and finally blocks it and it bursts. Okay, very important. And so, like, just like we keep looking after a car, just like you keep replacing the parts of the car, you replace the oil, you replace the shock absorbers, You replace the oil filters. You replace, there are people who want, the people who tend to drive Mercedes Benzes, they tend to love the cars very much. You can take it for a complete revamp. They remove everything, they paint the car again. But when you say how old is this Mercedes Benz? I bought it 20 years ago. You've seen those vintage Mercedes Benzes. The man loves his Mercedes Benz. But every now and then he takes it for a revamp. They remove everything. They remove the tires. They replace the suspensions. They replace the bushels. Everything, and then he brings it back and still does some good work. Okay. Now that's the essence. You see, there is nothing a human being does that is not based on their body. Nothing, because the physiology of the machine was made basing on the physiology of the human body. Okay. The car breathes also, breathes in and wants to breathe in clean air. That's why you put an air filter so it can take in clean oxygen to combust and produce the power to drive the car. It also has an exhaust. That's something to remove the toxins. If you cover the exhaust pipe of the car, the engine will shut down. Okay, because the car must also remove the toxins that it has, ingested or it has produced. Now, if even a machine designed by a man, we know it must have all those good things done for it. How about you? How about me? And so, the purpose of our sharing today is to look at our wonderful products. What package can I recommend for people who are aging? He's not hypertensive, no. He has no erectile issue, no. Even if he had it and is no longer sexually interested, okay, no problem. He's not obese that he needs trim tone, no. He's not looking, he doesn't want to look so nice that, okay, I want hair, skin, and nails that I have grown. No, he's beyond that age, but he's aging. Okay, what can you recommend for them? These are the 3 important products for degenerative disease. Number 1 is resveratrol. Number 2 is super omega. Number 3 is muscle bone care. And we are going to see why. Number 1, why resveratrol? Resveratrol is an anti-aging. It has anti-aging ingredients. Anti-aging is a result of inflammation. Okay? Inflammation comes from oxidation, oxidative stress, free radicals. All those cause inflammation. I remember when we were talking about how the human body dies, we said it goes through the same process. The cause of the processes may be different, but the process is the same. Okay? This one may be killed by an accident, but a person to die of accident, yes, a car's knocked him down, the car's caused the inflammation has killed the person. You get it? Okay, this one has gotten a stroke, no problem. He has gotten a stroke, the stroke has caused the inflammation has killed him. You see? Okay, this one has got pressure, no problem. The pressure has caused the inflammation has killed him. Because if I have pressure, I get a heart attack or a cardiovascular, an ischemic heart attack, that is going to cause inflammation. It's going to make the heart to stop working. And then boom, you are dead. A car knocks a man down, he bleeds in his brain, the brain swells, in other words, gets inflamed, he dies. So you see, inflammation is a very important process in how diseases come in our body. Meaning a product like resveratrol, which has got very good antioxidants, can help to keep most of our body organs healthy because it helps to eliminate oxidative stress by mopping out what we call free radicals. It's very rich in antioxidants. Okay, gotten from grapes, berries, red wine, which are very good anti-inflammatory properties. So reduces swellings in joints, reduces swellings of muscle, reduces swelling of blood vessels because blood vessels also get inflamed. The inside of the blood vessel, we call it the intima, can get inflamed. Okay. So it reduces toxins in the body. And that way, you're protecting your joints, you're protecting your muscles, you're protecting your heart, you're protecting your nerve by just taking one product because of the different ingredients and the benefit they have in the general scope of the general health of your body. That is number one. Number two is super omega. This one is very rich in the most important oils in the body. The body can't make them, so you must supply them. If you don't supply them, something will go wrong. And those are the essential. The reason why we call them essentials because the body needs them. They're the main component in your nerves. They're the main component that support brain health. They're the main component that ensure good heart function. Okay, and they're the main component that make up the healthy cholesterol. There's what we call the health cholesterol, the high density HDL. When we do, there's a test that we call. There's a test in the medical world. We call it lipid profile. If you did your lipid profile, we want to see a lot of good cholesterol, a lot of the HDL, the high density. If we see a lot of low density and triglycerides, we get worried because those are the ones which block your blood vessels. And so what enhances good cholesterol are these essential fish oils because for them, they remain liquid. They remain liquefied. They don't solidify. They don't form plaques. Plaques, those are the things which form in your blood vessels. They block them. You get hypertensive. You get a stroke. Okay, you get a heart attack. You get it. You get swelling limbs. Okay, for some people, swelling or even rotting limbs if they affect the blood supply. Okay, and that is so super omega is a good source of those important essential fish oils. So meaning I'll have smoother joints. I have a healthier heart because HDL, the high density lipoprotein or the good cholesterol, is good food for the heart. The heart gets excited when there's a lot of good cholesterol because it works better. The good cholesterol washes the blood vessels so they are clear, so the heart can pump blood through easily. Okay, but if you're only taking the blue band, the butter, of course, the butter will also show up in your blood. The heart will struggle to pump blood through that butter you're eating, and definitely you end up where we all know most people end up. Okay. It is also very good in blocking pro-inflammatory compounds or cytokines. Okay, those chemicals which cause inflammation. And when inflammation occurs, there are those chemicals, there are those toxins which are produced that are going to cause the havoc in your body. And this super omega, the essential fatty oils are very good in neutralizing those. Okay. And then healthy heart or healthy blood vessels for the heart to pump through the blood. Then the other very important product for degenerative disease is muscle bone care. Okay, muscle bone care because most of the degenerative diseases show up in the human frame. Most people, a person may easily live with a pressure or hypertension or probably sick kidney, but now when they start getting joint pains, muscle pains, probably they know things are really bad. And so muscle bone care, this covers everything. Yes, if the problem is worse, you can add joint flex there. But if it's just for health, I want to be well, I want to, to service myself and keep myself, especially if you're 35, 40, 50, you should get something. You don't live 90 years by just eating chapati and ugali. You don't do that. You must take the vitamins, you must take the supplement, you must add something there to push the body go an extra mile. Because the body is not something that is indispensable. It is perishable. The body is perishable. And if we do not keep replenishing it with important things, it will definitely fail us. But someone will say, but anyway, we shall all get sick and die. That's okay. If you belong to that class, no problem. This information is not for you. But if you're someone who is okay, I want to live as healthy as I can, be as productive as I can, enjoy my family as much as I can, with the less struggles of health, then you are the one I'm talking to. Okay, and so muscle bone care is very important because it will support your muscle, it will support your bones. And we've said that as we get older, bones are the most significant organs in the body that show degeneration, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis. So meaning, if I supply my muscle bone care, I'm supplying the zinc, essential element. I'm supplying vitamin D, very important. Vitamin B must be taken in because the body can't make it. I'm supplying calcium. Okay, calcium, very important component in ensuring strong bones. Okay, that's why for pregnant women, even put calcium as a supplement because calcium is very important in keeping the mother's bones strong, but also the baby's bones strong. Because the baby must take calcium from the mother. If the mother has no calcium, so the baby will not have calcium, they are born. You've seen those babies who are born with the rickets, the legs are bent, the legs make a ring, you know, the knees are bent out like this because the muscles are, the bones are weak. Okay. Then there's boron. And so muscle bone care means it's going to take care of your muscle and joints. My super omega is going to take care of my cardiovascular system, my kidney system. Then my resveratrol is going to take care of all the other things in my body. So I know that yes, I'm aging because we all age, but you're aging gracefully. You're degenerating gracefully. You know, you've seen people, they are 70, but they're like 50 years. And then you see a 30-year-old and he has been beaten by life. They look very old, they look older than their age, not because of anything else, but because probably they are not in a class like this. So with that, my friends, this is the three that you want to recommend. I want to recommend resveratrol, your super omega, your muscle bone care. And then you know you've been helpful to yourself, but also to the client that you're supporting. So with that, we come to the end of our sharing this evening. We shall welcome a few questions and then we close our sharing today. Thank you. Yes, VP, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me?
Oh, yes, please, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. Derrick, for such a wonderful training. Let's appreciate him, and I can see already that is happening in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish everyone a great night. We are looking forward to next week on Thursday. We will be having another powerful training from our HPC. Thank you, and have a lovely night to everyone. Bye-bye.